All right. If you've not already, go on CodeCombat, create your account. You don't need to do a paying account for what we're doing today. All right? All right. So you want to learn the code, eh? I'll be your horse to the dark arts of, programming. CodeCombat is a fun, addictive, and effective way to learning, and you get to test and battle as you move up levels. So it's a great think of like something like Clash of Clans. Only write code to move up and down. So you'll learn actually how the code of the game works. You'll be using syntax to help you solve those puzzles. All right. Go to CodeCombat, click on that center button, select sign up to create your account. There's the sign up sign. Once you've entered your information, select the first world Kithguard dungeon. Kithguard. It's about 1 to 3 hours, depending on how fast you can do it. Make sure you select Python. Pick either the gal or guy that you want to be your hero. Then click next. And then you're going to equip them. Raise your hand once you've got your character equipped. All right, let me see down here. We'll get to that, Lauren. You can work on that a little bit. If you look at your PDF, you'll see it a little bit. Though code 7, I'm not sure is on this PDF. Just make sure you loop it. You got to loop it. I will give you that tip. No, you go ahead and you figure it out, Lauren. You can solve it. All right, come on, folks. Get in there and get to this part so we can get rolling. No, if you would. Lauren, raise your hand. I know you already know this part. You've got her equipped. So raise your hand. And I'll work with you on level 7. All right, good. Now, I'm putting everybody's hands down. Who was here this time last week? So I know how many people. Okay, so most folks have not been here, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and go through this. All right, here's the key. When you equip it, you're going to give yourself methods. Self is your object, the object, your player being self. Dot, move downs, move left, move right, move up. And so when we do the move down method, that's what it's going to do. It moves down a little bit. Hover over one of the orange lines. These are methods. You learn about what they do. Methods are a lot like functions, all right? But they are object specific. So what we mean by that is you use a method with, if you were a bird, you would have a fly method. If you're a human being, you would have a walk method. So that's how we say specific that way. Functions are reusable sequences of code, so like print and input. And we're going to see that in Minecraft. All right. Now, look at the function of build on left from scratch. Off edge on bounce. That's the same thing as this if-then statement. If touching edge, point in direction, direction of sprite plus 180 degrees. This if on edge bounce block is equivalent to these 5 blocks. Instead of using the 5 to the right, you just use one of the blocks. Okay? So that's what we have. All right. Now, remember, so move down does that. So the object is self, move down is the method. Note the parentheses. Self is actually a variable that stores information about your player, like their location. In CodeCombat, it's the boot that allows you to move these methods. Self move down, self move left, self move right, self move up. As the game continues, you'll get more armor, weapons, etc. that will give you access to additional methods. In Python, so not to read this, but as you go through this, like you got boots, you got these methods. As you go through the game, you're going to get more and more objects that are going to give you more methods and more abilities. All right? We use modules. Libraries are modules. Python's used on so many different things that if we included every bit of Python that's out there, you'd have a very large and unmanageable language. So we import libraries as modules as we need them. So, in the very first one, you're just doing self move right, self move down, self move right. If you click on help, it'll give you a hand. So you can try that, Lauren, if you want. All right. Notice you move up twice, first to the red circle, then to the top green one as you go through some of these things. So move right, then move down, then move up, up, move right. You have to do it. That's in level 2. Sometimes, level 3, you need to move up to avoid this guy. So you can't just go straight across. You're going to see, or you need to get to each one of these objects. Here, you're supposed to get the gems. I'm purposely going a little bit fast here for those people. This is a review for them. And 4, you've got this forgetful gemsmith. So, I need to give everybody a few minutes here to go through level 2, 3, and 4. Raise your hand if you're already up to level 5. Raise your hand if you're already up to level 5. Because see, if you're not to level 5, we really can't go on to 6 and 7. Sorry that there's this was not the original plan, but again, we're all adapting with everything that's going on. All right, let me see. Well, with that in mind, the other folks can go on and keep working your way through the methods and the problems. If anybody, as we do this, but let's get the other folks enough time to get through 5, so that way we can explain 6 and 7. Our 7 up here is not, quite what they have. They actually added one there. So if you would, get through 4, and then so we get to level 5. Raise your hand once you've made level 5. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to get caught to level 5. And I appreciate everybody's patience that we're already at that point. So go ahead and keep working on 7. Perseverance is crucial in programming. Raise your hand, folks, once you've gotten through 5 so we can go on to the next folks. All right, we've got 5 of 7. And if you can't get to 5, for example, your software isn't working, let us raise your hand then too, because we're waiting for you, but you're never going to get caught up. All right? All right, you're way past 5. That's great, Noah. Just make sure you've raised your hand so we know that in here. Noah, raise your hand, buddy. John, if you're past 5, raise your hand. Elijah, if you're past that, do it. Hannah, please raise your hand. 5 if good. So we're going to give it a couple more minutes, but then we're going to get it. I'm glad you're way past it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into what the sword method is, okay? And for those, okay. The new sword method means now we're going to have self again. You're the object. Attack target. Attack target is the method. So if you want to attack the enemy called Treg, you would type self attack, parentheses, in quotations, Treg. 'Cause you're saying literally, I want to attack this monster. Self attack Treg. If you want to attack the nearest enemy, you would do self find nearest enemy, assign it to enemy, and do self attack enemy. All right. So again, target your object. In this case, you know who you're the object, right? So there it is. You know, I'm the object. My method is attack, and there's the person I'm targeting, Treg. In this case, I've got to find my target. So I find my nearest enemy, I assign it to enemy, and I do self-attack enemy. All right? You know, remember, computers understand different kinds of values, not just numbers. They strings, everything. So we have variables like integers, floating numbers. That's all that is a fancy way of saying, hey, it has a decimal point. Boolean, true or false, yes or no, on or off. And then strings, anything that's a letter. So you might have 4, you could say 4 this way, etc. So in this case, you have self move right, self attack brack, self attack brack, so it would attack brack twice. Then it moved to the right and it would attack Treg. All right? So go ahead and do 5 and 6 now. If you can't get past that level, little tip, go ahead and add the bronze. Make sure you add the L, health. All right, and then tell me once you have, so Noah can raise his hand already on this. Well done, Noah. But raise your hands once you get 5 and 6 done. 7, Lauren, I hope you're getting that one. Is just looping on that. Raise your hand once you've got it, folks. All right, we're going to move on then. Good. Now, in 6, you probably had to add the health to make sure you'd survive it. Again, you got to do the loops on this. 7, all right, you're going to start looping on these. Let's talk about what looping is. We type loop with LOOP : : That means self.move right, self.move down, self. Let me, guys, because my old account, we didn't have 7 on that. Did you use a loop, Noah, to solve that? How many people have done 7? And it's not Kithmaze. They've added it. And I was just playing with it, but mine's got a bug now. It's got this and self in it, which is absurd. Self is for Python. This is for JavaScript. So I need someone to give me a quick answer on this. On number 7, because I have to play all the way through to get to 7. Who has gotten 7 done? All right, someone gave me that right here. Yeah, I know, Ziegler. All right, but can we get Stan topic here just real quick? Can I get, all right, let me go here. All right, Hannah. Quick question, or Noah, and actually hi, why too. Do you use a loop to solve lesson 7? Why? This is now the new one, so they've added new accounts for a while. Okay, yes, you do use a loop. All right, let me explain loops here. Loop : in Python we do loop : and you have to have spacing. Spacing in other languages doesn't matter. In Python it's a big deal. So this is 4 spaces over. Self move right, self move down, self move right, self move up. So what this does is going to keep going over and over. All right? Example, attack an enemy over and over. This will take you through a maze, and this would keep repeating over and over. Enemy, find the nearest enemy, assign it to self. If there's an enemy there, attack it. And this will attack enemy until you run out of enemies. Don't worry, it's the fire dance. All right, so that's the next step of this. But I want you to see the difference in loops. Loops repeat, like repeat 10, that's the same thing in Scratch. It's the same kind of loop. It's a repeat here. So, in Kithmaze, you're going to keep repeating the same thing over. So you can go right, right, up, up, right, right, up, up, right, right, up, up. Well, instead of saying that, you know, we're having to write this code out 16 times in total, you put it inside a loop, loop, OOP, : and it'll do it. It'll do it all the way until you get out. And then in loop 8, it's the same kind of, you're going to repeat a pattern. Again, loop with the with 4 spaces over each one of those spots. Many times that's the tab. It's level 7. Those people want to know. All right, and number 8. Go ahead. Let's do 7 and 8 now, please. Everybody, 7 and 8. Raise your hand once you get there. Is anybody else having this issue? It won't let you use the space bar to add a space. Right now we have Elijah saying that. Is anybody else having that issue? Please answer in the chat. Folks, I'm putting everybody's hands down a minute here. Raise your hand if it'll let you use the space bar. That way we can just find out if Elijah's the only one. All right, Hannah's got says she can use the space bar. Noah can. Leave your hands up, guys, so I can figure it out. Sam can. Good. Why? I don't know why I tried the space bar, but that way we all know. Noah says he can. So several people say they can. I'm not sure why. Sometimes this gets really, they're looking for a particular code, and it can get a little funky sometimes. Raise your hand. I'm putting everybody's hand. Tell me when you have 7 and 8 done, you've done the looping. Oh, never mind. Just didn't like the code I was doing. Okay, well, that's why we're not terribly shocked, I guess. Again, raise your hands once you get it. Once you 7 and 8, whatever those are. Go all the way, get through the second Kithmaze if they have that on there. Let me go ahead and see if they have. Let me go back over here. See, my problem is right now is it's yeah, there's Haunted Kithmaze. Fire Dancing is 7. Haunted Kithmaze, which I just showed you, is 8. And there should be another one. I've got Riding. I have a paid account, so I get all these extra levels. And then the second Kithmaze should be yours. So go through the second Kithmaze. So there's 1, 2, 3. Get through those. Raise your hands once you have them, folks. Raise your hands when we've got them. We got 30% of you. Let's keep hitting it. I'm going to go back over here. There we go. So that Fire Dancing is right behind there. I just want to look at loops right there. All right, we're about half. We'll keep hitting it now. That's all right. All right. Let's see how we're doing here, folks. All right, we've got some questions. Let's get that. How do I beat level 9? We'll get to level 9 in a little bit, Lauren. You're just crushing it. Good job. How am I supposed to find out the password? Is it random? Never mind. There you go. You're figuring it out now. All right. All right, Ben, just keep trying to do the loop, man. I don't want to just give you the password if I can avoid that. Okay, folks, we're at 56. Other folks are hopefully going on. They've downloaded the PDF, so you're not wasting your time. But raise your hand if you've gotten it knocked out. So I can go on and explain the next part, which I'm going to do in a few minutes anyways. Good job. Who just knocked out? Ben, that way knock out 8. All right, Noah, you've done this by now, I'm guessing. Raise your hands, guys. I'm waiting on you. Ben, raise your hand, buddy. Everybody raises their hands. We can go on. Pardon me. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the next part of this. All right, so again, a loop repeats it. That's why you should be through 8 by now. 9, dread door. You're going to do a loop where you attack a door. So I want you to go ahead through 9. Think about you can attack a door and just make quotations, but it's got to be capital D-O-O-R to do that. And you've got enemy 1, enemy 2. What I want you to realize, when you assign a variable, think of it this way. Enemy 1 equals crat. Crat is literal. So quotation, capital K-R-A-T-T, quotation. Enemy 1. When it's a variable, you don't put quotes around it. So once you assign crat to the enemy 1 variable, you just refer to it as enemy 1. So let's go through the next, what should be, I think, 8, 9, and 10. Remember, a variable is a name or container in which an item can be stored, like a box. So folks, just take a look up at this real quick. So variable name is age. My assignment operator is 3. That's my value. We store the integer value 3 to it. All right? You can name your thing almost anything. Like cat food could be crat. Flower pot could be Gert, Angry Bird, and then it would be attack cat food, it'd be attack flower pot, it'd be attack Angry Bird. It really doesn't matter. Now do what they say on theirs, because of the way they do their code, it might not pick it up. You shouldn't really also do it because, and this is more important, you'll never remember what cat food variable means unless you're writing a program for cat food. Okay? So you want to give it, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. And that's why. This will save you a lot of headaches. So make sure you're using enemy 1, enemy 2, and enemy 3 when you're doing this. Variables are useful because even though you're adding more lines of code, it allows you to change. And you'll see that in the next level when we get to master of names, okay? But let's go ahead, get going once you've gotten to that point to master of names. Raise your hand when you get to find the nearest enemy, that new method, okay? So that way you don't have to know their names. All right, we got a bunch of people who have jumped on it. Good, let's get a couple more. That away. This is so much better way to learn coding than the old way. We used to make people memorize databases or some other word games. This way you can kind of see how they really would use it. John, I haven't heard too much from you. What level are you on, John? All right, come on, folks. Let's go ahead. Raise your hand once you've got it. John, I haven't heard a word from you. All right, we're going to go ahead and go on since we got most everybody here. Ben, did you get it? All right, now let's talk about this new method. Find the nearest enemy. All right. All right. Enemy. So, and if it doesn't find an enemy, it just gives a null, which means it just says there is none. So self, find the nearest enemy. Enemy equals self, and you got to assign it to, if you find something, it needs to assign it to enemy, whatever that enemy might be, or it's going to assign it as null. In other words, there aren't any. So look up here. Enemy 1 equals self, find nearest enemy, self-attack, enemy 1, self-attacked, enemy 2, enemy 1. And then you can do it for 2 and keep assigning it. And it finds it, saves it to the variable enemy 1, and again, it attacks it, just like we said. Plus, you could do a loop, which would just need one enemy, and it would just do it over and over again. All right? So let's go ahead. Remember, there's patterns. Take a look at it. Find the nearest. You should recognize this from the last level. Self, find the nearest enemy. Now it's self, attack the enemy 1. Move right. Enemy 2, find the nearest enemy. Attack. Enemy 2. Self, move right. Go for that. Put everybody's hands down. Again, raise your hands once you get there. Again, folks, the more you do this, it's really not even important the language. It's starting to understand the logic. Understanding, hey, we take a complicated program, we break it into pieces with sequence, the order matters, we use looping, and then we start using if-then. And now you're using methods. It might be a different way with a different language, but, and functions and subroutines. Doesn't matter. What matters, you start to figure out, you take a program down, you break it, and you make it into pieces. Good job. Someone's crunching this. Ben, nice job. Raise your hand so I know you've done it, Ben. People raise their hands once they get these. Give me 5 moments. 5 moments. All right. All right, folks. I want to go just the next few things so you can keep going forward with this. All right. Again, you're looking for a pattern here with your loops. All right. You know, find your nearest enemy and attack it. Then move. And you're doing this all as a loop. Look, your loop, you move to the right, you move up, attack the enemy, attack another enemy. You know, that find that nearest enemy, attack them twice, then move right, then move down, down, then move up, and do it over and over again. You know, you repeat the loop up there. This allows you to build things, all right, with XY coordinates. So here's some more. You're going to have enough method. It's got gold. And what it's going to say is self-build XY fence. So fence, that's what you're building. And then here's your X and Y parameters. So build type, string, fence. So that you need that. So that's your build type. And then number is X, your coordinates, and Y. Okay? And so you build a fence 36 by 34, 36, 30, 36, 26. And it'll keep putting fences so you don't get crashed. And then move right. All right? So that's where we're going to be tonight. It's 5 to 7, so we're going to go ahead and stop now. Keep it up. Charlotte folks, I have you this week. Those I didn't have Tuesday, we have you Thursday. So remember that. Raleigh folks, we're gonna just play it by ear. We gotta see Carolyn's mom get out of the woods yet at this hospital. All right, when she gets out, we'll figure out a way to make everything up. All right, everyone. And with that in mind, we'll go ahead and call it a day. Take care, all. Ben, if you're still there, let me talk to you. Ben Watson, if you're there. Is Ben still on? I lost him again.